Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Mind Your Puckin' Business with your host, Jeffrey Princeton.
Thank you, Dougie Sticks. Good morning to you. How are you?
Good morning. I'm great. How are you?
I am good. Thank you for listening to the Mind Your Puckin' Business podcast. We're coming to you, as always, from the beautiful studios here of Undefeated Media in Bergen County, New Jersey. And as always, we are brought to you by our good friends at Sonnet Financial Technology, so we thank them. This is episode number 51, which is hard to believe on the if you're counting. And if you're doing this in the Spanish translation today, cincuenta y uno, episode
Nice.
cincuenta y uno.
Nice job.
Thank you very much. And any questions you have at any time, you can always send them to us at mypbshow@gmail.com. And if you're following the video feed, you'll see that email address.
Oh, whoa.
Actually,
my bad.
The correct is right there on the screen.
My bad.
mypbshow@gmail.com. And you can listen to us a variety of different ways, whether that be YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, Facebook. You certainly know where to find us, and we appreciate you finding us. So good morning, Dougie. How are you? You're good?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. How was your Halloween?
Same old. Halloween's lost its magic now that I'm old.
You're kind of in, I don't know for those following on camera, if that's a pink shirt, an orange shirt, or like a cross in between. Like it's kind of Halloweenish if it was orange.
Dusty rose.
Dusty rose.
It's the color of the season.
It is. It is the color of the season. That it is. And are you getting ready as we approach this weekend?
Yes.
We are now 72 hours away from you becoming a married man.
Wow.
On Friday.
Yes.
Are we ready?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, it's happening.
What are the last minute thoughts going into game day Friday?
I mean, we're good. There's, people always saying like, are you nervous? Are you stressed? Are you happy? You're like, well, I'm good.
You'll be there.
I'm good.
You'll be there when you're told. You'll be there 2:30 on Friday, as will I.
Got an ice luge, so I'm pumped about that.
Oh,
ice luge, fireworks. We got those walking on clouds when we do our dance, and we have the sparklers stuff.
I just texted my wife, as you told me before the show, that there were fireworks on the rooftop after, so she is aware.
Nice.
So
is she happy about that, or is she running for the hills?
No, I think that's cool.
All right, nice.
I mean, I'm surprised the venue is letting you do that, setting off fireworks on the rooftop, but I think it's cool.
Yeah, fireworks are legal. We're not doing anything illegal.
True. That is true. Hey,
and it's an added benefit that we're on a rooftop, so we get more height.
Yes,
the height advantage.
Well, we wish you, the entire staff here, we wish you the best of luck on Friday.
Thank
I
you.
will be in attendance. I will wear
Absolutely.
a suit for the first time in probably 18 months. But we wish you luck on Friday for game day. And the next time we are on the air, which will be a week from today, you will be a married man.
I'll have a ring on.
A ring on your finger.
I don't know how I feel about that. Like,
you want to know something weird?
What?
So when we got married in 2008, which was a long time ago now, 13 years and a half years almost, I got a ring on my finger. That ring can now not leave, and I'll show it on the camera. It will not leave my finger because it's too tight. It's not.
Man.
So
you got to cut your finger off.
If I wanted to take it off and I don't have any desire to take it off, I could take it off anyway. So make sure they size your ring correctly.
Well, yeah. So like we were doing tests. I would like wave my hand around, make sure it's not too loose, but like I'm nervous because I'm a lefty, so I don't want to throw like a football. Then
there it goes.
There it goes.
Hope they catch the ring and not the football.
Or both.
Yeah. So speaking of football, we'll get to football in a little bit. We're going to start with hockey, and we're going to start with a topic I don't want to talk about, but I feel like we have to because we've always said here that we're going to try and talk about the things that need to be talked about. We've kind of always had that mantra, right? Since day one, I feel like we've done that. And it's this Blackhawks sexual assault situation that's really kind of not only encompassed the entire NHL, but really has now become major sports news as well as in the regular news cycle. So if you haven't followed along, it was reported in 2000. Well, it was reported that back in 2010, in kind of the heyday or right before the Blackhawks won their 3 Stanley Cups, as they won the Stanley Cups, in that time frame, one of their assistant video coaches sexually assaulted the term that they use in hockey is a black ace, a guy that's not always in the lineup, sometimes plays, sometimes is, I wouldn't say benched, but doesn't dress for games. And the allegations came out, and certainly the allegations are true. I mean, it's been kind of admitted on all parties. And really now the downfall or the sad situation amongst it all is the cover up, because now you have the coach, Hall of Fame coach, and Joel Quenneville, who has left to go coach in Florida, has now resigned from his position last week after meeting with the commissioner.
Wow.
Because apparently it certainly seems that a lot of people within the Blackhawks organization, both the front office staff, because the GM, Stan Bowman, also resigned, whether it be front office staff or even players, knew about this situation for now, if you think about it, 9 or 10 years, and never really reported it or took it seriously. So when the case, and I'm not a legal expert at all, a party involved that was assaulted was known as John Doe, as I guess is common protocol in these situations. Well, last week, the player decided he was going to come out, say his identity to kind of give light to the case, and that is Kyle Beach was the name of the player. So the ramifications now, the players union is having this whole thing today. It is really a terrible situation. So our thoughts are with Kyle Beach in this whole ugly situation, and the ramifications and the fallout from it really is a situation that happened 11 years ago is pretty harsh, as it should be.
Yeah.
So,
and that was a year that they did well in the season.
They won they actually did win the Stanley Cup in 2010. Yeah, they beat the Philadelphia Flyers on a Patrick Kane overtime goal in 2010. They also won the Stanley Cup in 2013 in a lockout shortened season versus the Bruins, and then they also won it again in 2015 versus Tampa. But just an awful situation. I mean, it's tough to read. It's almost like I don't want to even hear about it anymore because it's just disturbing. But so our thoughts are with Kyle Beach, and it does seem like Gary Bettman, the commissioner of the NHL, certainly is not afraid to get the parties responsible for being responsible. So one other thing, total aside, I threw this in the kind of notes for the show last minute. And it's also kind of a depressing story. Jerry Remy was a famous color guy on the broadcast for the Boston Red Sox for years. I don't like the Red Sox. I'm a Yankee fan. I get it. But I'm synonymous. I know Jerry Remy's voice. I went to school in Boston for 4 years, and whenever games were on, Jerry Remy was really, in a lot of ways, the face of the Red Sox organization. He lost his battle with cancer over the weekend on Saturday night. And if you watch the NFL on Sunday, and we'll get into the NFL, a lot of play-by-play guys around the country from different games pay tribute to him because of the impact he had on the sports and in New England. I believe I read that he was diagnosed with cancer 8 times in his life.
Wow.
And it seems like it was the 8th time that unfortunately took the greatest toll on him in taking his life. But our thoughts as well go out to the Remy family in New England, because Jerry Remy was, everybody knew Jerry Remy, just a good guy. And I can think back to plenty of times watching games in college and hearing that guy's voice every night. So our condolences go out to him. So shifting gears now to better stuff.
Yeah, we're going
to keep it. We've got a wedding Friday to attend. So we want to try to stay positive news. So,
yeah. So, absolutely.
And I see we have some comments coming in, and I will get to that in a minute. Right. We are going right into what the comment. Why don't you bring that comment up?
You got it.
Because we are going right into that is the first thing. So Jim Barringer, who was with us last week from Last Word on Sports, wrote, Adam Fox, solid deal for the Rangers. You knew this was coming. It was just a matter of how much. Yes. So Adam Fox signed yesterday a extension deal at 9.5 as the annual value. So look, the Rangers were not going to get rid of Adam Fox. That was not ever going to happen. They were going to extend him. I mean, how could you not keep your Norris Trophy winner? Really, the issue was, as Jim is saying, how much. Now, I've seen some people and I don't know if Jim wants to chime in on this because he knows this stuff well. I've got a lot of people last night sending me text on our and the Instagram page for the show. Well, wait a sec. If you're signing Adam Fox for 9.5 years, does that mean you're just not going to re-sign Kakko and Lafreniere? And that's not what it means. I mean, look, Chris Drury is a very methodical, well thought out individual. He's not going to sign Adam Fox to a contract if that means that Kaapo Kakko, when his entry level contract expires at the end of this year, cannot be re-signed. Now, you will probably down the road see some financial pinching, if you will, because of the Adam Fox contract. The name that comes to mind may be Jacob Trouba, that maybe down the road has to suffer because of the terms of the contract. But Adam Fox had to be re-signed. I mean, he wasn't going to go anywhere. I don't think it was a surprise as well, as Jim said. It just was a matter of how much. Now, maybe you could have argued that if this was done a year ago, maybe you could have lessened the term of the deal to maybe something like $8 million per year, But because he won the Norris Trophy, obviously is the best defenseman in the league, it raised his value even more. So that's a fair argument, but I don't know how you can be unhappy with it. I mean, Adam Fox is really, he's a joy to watch. I mean, he scored the game-winning goal the other night in Seattle on Halloween for those who are up late on the West Coast game on Sunday night. Adam Fox is everything you want in a young player that you have. At the end of his deal, if I'm not mistaken, I believe he's going to be only 30 years old. So at the end of his deal, it's not like that this deal is taking him till he's 36 years old, where the second half of the deal, he's, in the downfall or the decline of his career. It's not. So look, I congratulations to Adam Fox. He's earned it for sure. But I wouldn't be overly concerned that this means now that Kakko and Lafreniere and some of these bigger names are not going to be back down the road. I'm pretty sure Chris Drury knows what he's doing. It's pretty well thought out, and he will be able to re-sign these guys. So nice. The other thing, which will make you happy, to say something, the odds of now before Adam Fox was re-signed yesterday, the odds of Jack Eichel coming here was still slim. This even makes it slimmer because if you have money. $9.5 million going per year to Adam Fox. You have less to take on the contract from Jack Eichel. And again, as we've talked about on the show, Buffalo has seemed to be pretty adamant they're not going to retain any salary. So the Rangers just can't afford him. I mean, plain and simple. So remember, you just signed Mika Zibanejad to a big deal. Yeah. And we'll get into him in a minute with his lack of production. You've re-signed him. You re-signed Shesterkin over the offseason to a big deal. And you're going to have guys like, Kakko and Lafreniere to pay. So it'll be interesting to see in the coming years the ramifications of how much salary the Rangers are giving.
Yeah, how do you feel about this?
I'm fine with it. Well, I mean, look, he's earned it. If the alternative is, okay, if the Rangers are not going to give Adam Fox $9.5 million, guess what? Somebody else will. Absolutely. Easily. I mean, the guy's not.
All right, maybe he's not a good example, but how do you feel about all these signings happening relatively recently that are big contracts? Are besides Adam Fox, is everyone worth it?
Yeah, Shesterkin had to be signed. Look, you can argue Mika Zibanejad, and you could say, well, hey, you know what? You paid him to be a number one center. I'm not sure he was a number one center. Maybe you could argue he's a number two center. But as we've talked about on the show before, it's not like, you can just go out and get a number one center. It's not like they haven't really hit the market.
They don't grow on trees.
Yeah, so they don't. Or they don't get shot out of fireworks at weddings on a rooftop either, Doug. But I do think that it's fine. And the guys that they're locking up are long-term people. You wouldn't like to see, let's say, somebody that, let me give you an example here, who would not, you wouldn't want to see Ryan Reeves locked up to an 8-year deal. Right, he's not going to be here for 8 years. He's not one of those guys. You wouldn't want to see Patrick Nemeth locked up to a deal at that length. But on the other hand, you know what? These are guys that are going to be here a while. You might as well lock them up, and then you figure out the cap accordingly as they go on. But I don't have any problem with the Adam Fox deal at all. And as Jim said, it's not a surprise. So the Rangers in the last week. So we were on last Tuesday after really. The atrocious performance of Monday night. The Rangers just didn't show up versus Calgary. And I had said that, they weren't going to play till Friday night, and then they had Columbus coming in. And it was a game that they needed to win because behind it was a 4-game West Coast trip. Most of it, actually 3 of the 4 in Canada, which starts tonight in Vancouver. And the Rangers won. They played very well on Friday night. You actually sent me a text that Igor was stopping everything
yes.
the shot at him, which shows you that he was good if you're even picking up on it.
I picked up on it.
You did pick up on it. Chris Kreider had 2 more goals to continue his hot start, and Lafreniere and Ryan Strome got his first goal of the year on Friday night as well. So the Rangers went out to Seattle on Sunday night, first time visiting the Seattle Kraken, the new 32nd franchise of the National Hockey League. And Rangers didn't play great. But you know what? Again, kind of the theme with this team, and our producer B-Rock was talking about this before the show today, is they're finding ways to win games that they're not playing that well. Shesterkin was good again. But, again, there's some lack of production issues with this team that you don't like to see. As I said last week, we're not going to sound the panic alarms on these things. We're just not going to do that yet. It would be a little bit crazy to do that. But, you would like to see Mika Zibanejad with more than 1 goal. You would like to see Artemi Panarin with more than 1 goal. However, as we were talking in the studio here before we went live, Panarin has 7 assists on the season, and Mika Zibanejad has 6 assists. So they're just not putting the puck in the net, but they are contributing in different ways. So the Rangers now continue this Western Canada trip. They will be in Vancouver tonight, and then they will hang out in Western Canada until Friday night when they play in Edmonton, the red-hot Edmonton Oilers. And then they will go back to Calgary on Saturday night after Calgary lit them up here last Monday. And then They finally, the thing as a Ranger fan, I like this aspect of the schedule. Most people don't like it, but I like it. The beginning part of the season is very road heavy. So you're going to end up playing 41 home and 41 away.
Mhm.
It's going to balance out. I'd
Yeah.
rather at the end of the year when the points really seem to matter more, let us play at the Garden.
Yeah.
But the Rangers, the last couple of years, we talked about this on the show last week, seem to be a pretty good road team.
How are we feeling about the season so far?
We like it. 6-2-1. I mean, I think with the record, you can't really get upset about anything. You would like to see some, like I said, you would like to see some better production for some of the top guys. Turkin has been very good. Adam Fox has been very good. I do like Sammy Blaze. We talked about that last week with Jim Behringer. I like him so far. I think Ryan Reeves, when he's playing, even though he's hurt right now, has added a physicality component that hasn't been there. Chris Kreider has been good, although I am very leery on Chris Kreider. He's the streakiest player I can ever remember rooting for. So when he's hot and he's getting you 6 or 7 goals so far in the first couple of weeks, he can disappear and get you no goals for a month. I mean, this has happened before. But overall, I think I'd be happy.
Nice.
From
what I've seen, everything looks good. Igor's standing on his head. Kreider had 2 goals on power play.
Yeah. Look, they're 6-2-1, and they've had 2 home games. So they played, 7 on the road, and I mean, it's pretty good. And one of those losses, remember, out of the 6-2-1, one of the losses was on opening night. So really, since opening, actually, and then the second night they were home versus Dallas, where they had the overtime loss. So really, they've won 6 of the last 7.
Nice. We're going to Stanley Cup, baby.
All of those, relax there. From your mouth to God's ears. But if you think about it, really, I mean, that's a pretty solid start. And they're finding unique ways to win. Eventually, as our producer B-Rock was saying before we went on here, eventually it's going to balance out. Mika will start putting the puck in, and Panarin and all that stuff. So,
all right.
There we go. So we are going to shift gears to the NFL. Now, we went into let's see, last week was week 8. So we went into week 8, 5-2, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we had said last week that it was a critical week because there's a big difference between being 6-2 if we had another winning week or going to 5-3 if we had a losing week. We had a killer week last week. We almost hit it all. We had 4 or 5 right. So another winning week takes us to 6-2 on the season. We've made you money. Now think about this. We are rewarding financially the people that have listened to the show.
Yeah.
Because if they have taken our bets, if they have just done what we have said or what we think is going to happen, right?
Yes.
You would have made money.
Yeah.
What's better than that?
Listen to the show. You make money.
It's a pretty good deal. So last week we had, and I know you like this. I have not been an Atlanta fan whatsoever. I took the Panthers +3 in Atlanta. They won the game outright. I had the Bills -13.5 up in Buffalo. Now they almost did not cover this game, but they did on a touchdown in the last minute, and they won by 15. So we had that right.
Mm-hmm.
I had Pittsburgh getting 3.5 at the Browns. I said those games are always close, so Pittsburgh just decided to win the game outright.
Mm-hmm.
We had the Titans +1 at the Colts. They won the game outright in overtime, although they've got to deal with a Derrick Henry injury, which we're going to talk about with our guest in a couple minutes. And then the one that we had wrong, I thought for a while watching the game on Sunday, I thought we were going to get it, which was Tampa -5.5 at the Saints. So we were 4-5 on the week. And we moved our record to 6 up. 2 down.
Nice.
Now, I will also say that we picked the local games last week. We had both of them right. We both picked even though it wasn't in our weekly picks. By the way, the Giants and Jets are both in my 5 games this week.
Wow.
Yes, I want you to know that.
Wow.
So I'm warning you. In a minute, we're going to get to that. But you and I each had the Jets +10.5 in what was a crazy game. Now, I will say, because I know you're going to want to get on me for this, I got a text from you Sunday at like 3:45. It was something like, oh my God, this is crazy.
Yeah.
I didn't know what you were talking about because I was dealing with trick-or-treating chaos in my house.
Oh my God.
Where we ran out of candy in 20 minutes. And I had no candy with hundreds of kids. And I had just gotten back from a soccer game with my daughter. So I didn't even see the Jet game. But you want to talk about it?
At that point, it was like tied. They were going punch for punch. Like it was the craziest game I've ever seen from the Jets in my entire life. Craziest Jet game I've ever seen.
This guy, now again, Mike White, quarterback, right?
Start him.
Well, he's starting Thursday night because Zach Wilson's still hurt. But was it like
Trey Zach?
You're off the Zach train. So he was 400. I think he had 405 yards and 3 touchdowns,
Yeah.
which is incredible.
The most yards from any quarterback since like Joe Montana.
In what, a debut game?
No, in like any game, period.
No, there's been
B-Rock, check the stat book, please. They said it like 4 times at the game. They said this is the most yards in the last like 15 years
405
that,
yards
that a quarterback has had in the last 15 years.
I don't think that's right. And I'll tell you the only reason I don't think that's right. In my fantasy league, when quarterbacks throw for over 400, they get a bonus. I've seen quarterbacks get the bonus.
Dude,
B-Rock
from who?
will check.
From who? Mark Sanchez, the butt fumbler?
Oh, wait a sec. But Jets quarterback.
Yeah, Jets
Oh,
quarterbacks.
that's fair. Yeah.
In the history of in like the last 15 years,
Sorry.
Jets quarterbacks.
Yes.
Most yards
100%.
since.
Well, Chad Pennington
Who
never
was
threw
it?
for 400 yards.
Who was it?
Ken O'Brien, maybe?
No, it was no.
Joe Namath?
I don't know.
It wasn't Chad Pennington.
I just know for the last 15 years, this was the best performance from a Jet QB.
Well, it will make things interesting. There is now some juice in the Thursday night game this week,
Yes.
which is the Jets at the Colts. So let's get into the picks because, as I said, the Jets are looking at him. He's Googling this on the screen.
Yes.
Although you spelled the first name wrong.
What's his first
Ryan,
name?
right?
Oh, Ryan.
I think, right?
I don't know.
Am I right about that, B-Rock? That's Mike White. It's Mike White. Yeah, it's not Brian, right? It's Mike White. So we don't even know the name of this guy. He had 405 yards. He's
Sign him up.
And this guy over here wants to get rid of Zach Wilson for a guy he doesn't even know the first name of. You can't make it up.
Get him out of here.
All right, so here we go. Let's go with your week number 9. Feeling fine in week number 9. Mind your fucking business picks. So I am going to go the Thursday night game. I hate doing the Thursday night game to begin with. I also hate doing the Jets or the Giants, but I'm doing it this week. I like the Jets plus 10.5 at Indy. Thursday night games, we've said this, if you've listened to us, seem to be on maybe the lower scoring side sometimes. And 10.5 is a lot of points for a team playing with momentum. Now, would it surprise me if Indy shuts down this quarterback and now you want Zach Wilson back in a week? No. But give me the Jets on Thursday night plus 10.5. I'm covered with a touchdown and a field goal and then half a point in Indianapolis. The Giants give me plus 3 at home versus the Raiders this Sunday at MetLife Stadium.
Whoa. Giants plus 3 against the Raiders.
Yes. I'm not buying the Raiders at all. They still got a new coach. I'm not.
What's their record? Aren't they only lost like 2 games? 1 game?
2 or 3. They're also coming off a bye. They got to come east. Give me the Giants plus 3. The Giants didn't look good last night in Kansas City. Kansas City just doesn't look good to begin with. But
yeah,
I'm taking the Giants plus 3 at home versus the Raiders. Give me the Texans plus 7 at Miami. Miami is not good. The Texans are getting a touchdown. The Texans are okay, but a 7 is a lot for a team that in Miami that just can't put away teams. So you're going to tell me that Miami's not going to win by a touchdown or more? Actually, more than a touchdown because it's plus 7? No, give me the Texans plus 7 in Miami. Give me the Panthers, and our producer B-Rock won't like this pick. Give me the Panthers plus 3 at home versus the Patriots. The Patriots maybe are due for a letdown game after the good win out in L.A. The Panthers, again, we talked about it last week. It's why I picked them in Atlanta. They have to win these games. They've kind of been slacking. So give me the Panthers protected by a field goal plus 3 at home versus the Patriots. And then last, I struggled to find the last game that I liked. I'm taking the Packers plus 2.5 at Kansas City on Sunday night. And now, because I did this yesterday, this was before the Monday night game. Now I really even like it more because the Chiefs last night, I don't understand what is going on with them at all. So I'm taking the Packers plus 2.5 at Kansas City. So to recap the week 9 picks, I'm taking the Jets plus 10.5 Thursday night in Indianapolis. I'm taking the Giants plus 3 at home versus the Las Vegas Raiders. I'm taking the Houston Texans plus 7 at Miami. The Carolina Panthers plus 3 at home versus New England Patriots. And the Sunday night game, I'm taking the Packers plus 2.5 at Kansas City. Now, I see we have a comment if you want to pull it up on the live stream. I just can't see what it is.
Jets from our friend Tom.
From our friend
Jets QB. That's a low standard.
That is a low standard. Look, Tom is fair.
In the last 15 years, he had the best stats.
So what would it take for you?
Okay.
Let's say that
I'm on the Ryan White train now.
It's Mike, right? Brian? Yeah.
I'm on the Mike White train right now.
Well, it's a good thing football jerseys have last names on it and not 1st
I'm going to
names.
get
You would
my
have
own
no idea.
last name on these jerseys now.
So if somebody were to get you for your wedding this Friday, now it won't be me.
Okay.
And I probably don't know anyone else going, so I can't be referring to anyone in particular. But if someone were to get you a Mike White jersey as your wedding gift, so you're opening gifts on Saturday with your new wife,
yes,
and you're happy because you're seeing there's a lot of checks and it's money,
and then finally I get a box,
right? And then you get a box and you open it up,
yes,
and it's a Mike White jersey.
I would not be angry, but if you're gonna give me a jersey, get me one with my own name on it, because I got a brand new Sam Donald jersey. I got a brand new Eli Manning jersey, and things happen. So you know what I'm gonna start doing now? I'm gonna start getting my own last name on it, and it'll last forever.
Okay, I got it.
Delivery.
Oh, you know what it is? It's your Mike White jersey.
There it is.
The doorbell just rang here in the studio, so I guess that is your Mike White jersey.
That is my Mike White. Yeah,
could be.
Dude,
do you think your wife would be happy to see one of the wedding gifts arrive as a Mike White jersey?
She won't have a clue. She'll just see jersey and she'll be sports. Oh man, sports. No, but dude, the dude had 2 interceptions at the beginning of the game, and he still looked like the best quarterback the Jets have had in a long time. He had 400 something yards, passing yards.
Okay,
he was just slinging the ball. Sorry, Zach, take a back seat, bro.
We'll take it. So we're going to stay on the football topic here. And one of the things we like to talk about, we haven't done a ton of it this season, although I'm still involved with it and I get engrossed in it every Sunday.
Yes.
Is fantasy football.
Yes.
And we're going to bring in someone today that knows a lot about fantasy. I'm going to ask him some questions.
Nice.
Because this week, and I'll tell you what made the spreads a little bit hard to pick for week 9.
Mm-hmm.
There's some injuries going on in the league. You've got Derrick Henry now. You don't know if Dak Prescott's going to play. You don't know if Jameis Winston is going to play. It doesn't sound like he is. So when I'm looking at the spreads yesterday, I'm like, I don't even know who's playing.
It was like 5 backup quarterbacks who did a great job.
But thankfully, you had Mike White.
Well, right? You might want to pick up Mike White on your fantasy team.
That's your advice? Okay.
That's my advice.
me
pick him up and start him.
Me personally,
yeah,
I'm going to stick with Mahomes, though I have. But
all right.
I appreciate
he's so great yesterday.
Well, he was well, that's going to be a question in a minute. So we're going to bring in, let's see if we can bring him in. This is Joe DeAngelis. Joe, you there?
Yeah, what's going on, guys?
How are you? So I see you have the Giant hat on. So are you a Giant fan, I'm going to assume? Okay.
Yeah, sadly.
Okay, yes,
it's been painful.
Well,
it's been painful.
Yes. Last night was painful to watch. So while we're on the topic of the Mike White era here, and I know it's not your team, should Dougie Sticks be buying a Mike White jersey in celebration? Or would it be a little too premature?
It's not even on sale.
Absolutely not. Hey, I'm sure you could get a custom one of Fanatics for like 300, but
yeah. But we'll say this: Danny Dimes was just injured, and his replacement did pretty well too.
Yeah, but not the same stats.
Not the same stats, but hey, there's something. Right. Maybe they got backup guys on.
Something about backups in New York.
Yeah, it is, and that's why the records are what they are. So let's talk some injury news while we're talking about backups. So we're gonna try and keep this to fantasy stuff. So Derrick Henry this weekend gets hurt. I didn't have him in any league, so I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm sweating about it. But if you had him, what a loss, because the guy was having a killer season. I saw they signed Adrian Peterson yesterday. Would you take a flyer on Adrian Peterson if you had Derrick Henry right now?
If you have Derrick Henry right now, I'm hoping you have a better replacement than Adrian Peterson right now, because you'll be scrambling for a running back for the rest of the year, unless Adrian Peterson's Adrian Peterson. But honestly, right now, I actually like Jeremy McNichols right now a little bit more, just for the passing side upgrade game. I think Tannehill's going to have to throw the ball about 50 times a game for the rest of the year now. I mean,
he is, and that may be good for AJ Brown owners, who seems this weekend, and I know this because I played against him. It seems like AJ Brown may have got his rhythm back with Ryan Tannehill. So,
definitely, for sure.
With them throwing the ball. So I'm watching. So I do a couple leagues, but there's one league. I feel like everyone that does fantasy football is in this boat. You do a couple leagues, but there's one that means more to you than others, right? The one that you really, maybe it's your big money league, maybe it's the league you trash talk in most, whatever. So for that league, for me, Patrick Mahomes is my quarterback. he's going to play for me. I'm not going to bench him. I'm not going to do that. But is Mahomes still going to be a top 3 quarterback the rest of the year, or are you not buying that?
His name's Patrick Mahomes. You're starting him every year for the rest of the season. You have to. You spent the 2nd or 3rd round pick on him. You can't bail on him now, and then next week he's on your bench. He drops 45 points. You just got
what would happen.
You got to keep riding it out. I mean, he has Kelsey and Tyreek Hill. How do you get away from that? I know it's been a little rough with the couple past games. He didn't really do that great against the Giants, but you got to keep riding him. He's Patrick Mahomes.
Do you think because of how the Giants played him last night, they were making him do short passes? Do you think that's going to be the common theme for the next 3-4 weeks?
I think that's how most defenses should play Patrick Mahomes. Limit the deep game and make them drive. I think the Giants did that perfectly yesterday, but we're the Giants, so of course we didn't get the win.
Yeah.
But that's what you got to do. But that doesn't mean Patrick Mahomes can't still make good games out of that. If anything, it actually should make his numbers higher. Just take the check down once in a while, like he did with Darrell Williams. He had a pretty solid day yesterday, even though his yards might have not been that great. He got a lot of receptions. So just hit the check down, hit the hitches, hit the slants, work up drives, then those big plays will come.
You know what was weird last night watching that game? The first drive, Kansas City got the ball first. Kansas City moved the ball like effortlessly down the field. I mean, it ended up being an interception and hit the guy in the helmet and then, redirect it. The second drive, similar situation. Mahomes just moved down the field at will. And then I don't know if the Giants made a defensive adjustment or what was going on. It's just their whole rhythm was all. I mean, it went kind of backwards. So yeah, I'm starting Mahomes. He's not going anywhere, but I just worry about. I mean, it's just weird. And he still has, like you said, and like you said, Joe, it's weird because his targets are healthy. He still has Tyreek Hill, who looked really good last night. He still has Kelsey. The running game is good. So it's not like injuries or what's causing the problems here. It's just odd. It's just not in sync. So we are 8 weeks into the season. So for most leagues, you're already beyond the halfway part of the regular season, at least. Who is your fantasy MVP so far this year?
Oh, it absolutely has to be Cooper Kupp. I mean, he's just been astonishing this year. I know he was going to be good. I always liked him, but come on, wide receiver 1 through 8 weeks. Nobody but a Rams fan was going to say that was happening.
Yeah, we've talked about it here. The fit of Matt Stafford out there as a quarterback who's throwing the ball to him has been better than we thought. As a matter of fact, I wasn't really huge on them getting Matt Stafford, but what do I know? Apparently, because he's now throwing it to who you're picking the fantasy MVP so far. So on the other side, the fantasy disappointment so far this year is who?
I gave a lot of thought about this, but then when you think about it, it has to be Allen Robinson. You spent about a 4th or a 5th round pick on him, thinking he's usually been position ranked 9, 10 with Mitchell Trubisky. And then you got a young stud with Justin Fields, and he can barely get the ball. I think the Darnell Mooney's out playing him, numbers and snaps. I mean, it has to be him. You have people that are disappointing, but yeah,
that is a very good pick. I was not someone on my radar, but I can agree with that actually, because where you drafted him, you thought you were getting a ton of value, and you have gotten nothing from that. I mean, from him or that offense. I am a guy. I actually have David Montgomery on that team, and since he has gone out, I mean that offense can't do anything, Allen Robinson included. So that is a good pick for sure. Who would be maybe some names to watch the rest of the season? Who do you like going forward?
It might not be the smallest name out there, but I think you really have to keep an eye on Michael Pittman. He has just been straight balling the past couple games, and it looks like Wentz are finding a rhythm now. So if you could get him for low, I would definitely try to do that, especially that Tyreek keeps getting banged up. Keep an eye on Michael Pittman. And if you can, I would pick up Clyde if he's on your waivers. He's supposed to come back soon, and they look like Kansas City's run game's finally getting going again.
Oh, hello, Edwards, right?
Yeah.
The running back, yeah. Yeah, Pittman is an interesting guy this weekend, and I have him in my big league with Mahomes, actually. He had 2 touchdowns. Actually, they were early touchdowns in the game on Sunday against Tennessee. But, yeah, he has really become a pretty reliable guy for someone that wasn't really drafted and had to be taken off the waiver wires in every league. So, yeah, he's been really good. Let me ask you one last question. Is there a name that you think so far hasn't done well but will recoup? Is there someone you've been disappointed in, but maybe you look at their schedule and you see an opportunity, like they're playing weak teams? Is there anyone like that maybe is a good buy low candidate right now?
A buy low candidate? I was very high on him this year, and his numbers looked good, but I kind of expecting more from Joe Mixon this year. You spent second or third round picks on him, and if you could get him, I would, because that offense is just electric, even though they blew the game against the Jets. Good for the Jets, but I would. Joe Mixon could be a running back one for the rest of the year. If you could try to get him, I would.
You know what's amazing? You and I didn't talk before about my fantasy team. You basically just named my team because I have Mixon too. I have Mahomes, Mixon, and Michael Pittman and Kelsey. That is my team. So it's amazing that you have just actually like picked out my entire team. Well, thank you for joining us, Joe. I appreciate it. We can bring you back anytime you want to come on and talk fantasy football, particularly with playoffs coming up, which is normally the time of the year where I blow it, as we have the annual tradition around here that I'll have a good regular season and then I will blow it. So thank you, Joe, for coming on.
Appreciate it. How about them Rangers?
Well, yeah, you want to talk? You know what? Actually, let's leave Joe on for 1 second because I forgot about Joe is a Ranger fan as well. Let me ask you one question. Are you – there's the shirt. He's rocking it. You know your audience. I like it. Are you concerned at all with Zibanejad and Panarin's lack of putting the puck in the net?
No, we've been used to it. It's a different name on the jersey now. It's not Kreider. It's Zibanejad and Panarin. They'll get going. Just give them some time.
Yeah. And are you, last question, Adam Fox deal yesterday, $9.5 million per year, 8 years. Are you happy with the deal?
I am happy with the deal. Yes. The only thing is I thought the AV was a little high, but he's a Norris Trophy winner. That alone is going to get him at least 9. But you locked him up for the foreseeable future. So I don't have any problem with it. I am a little concerned about how the cap's going to play in a couple years, especially when you got to pay guys like Haka and Laffy. So I hope to try to give them bridge deals and then make them try to play for more. But there could be an issue down the line, but you got to look at now and not the future. So I like the deal.
Yeah, we talked about it before. I don't know if you were in our little virtual green room there, but yeah, I mean, I think the Norris Trophy win last year bumped up the average annual ticket on the Adam Fox contract a little bit. Well, good for him. He's earned it. And look, you're going to resign him because, as I said before, if you don't sign him at $9.5 million, someone else will in a heartbeat. So he ain't going anywhere. So thanks again for joining us, Joe. You can come back and even talk Ranger hockey with us anytime. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, no problem. Thanks for having me.
You got it. That is Joe DeAngelis, one of our fantasy experts here on the show. Nice. You are not doing fantasy this year. Am I right about that?
Yeah, no fantasy this year.
You decided to take the year off?
Just the league that I used to be in didn't happen, and I just didn't put the effort in to find another league. So if you need a guy next year.
Yeah. Are you regretting it at all or no?
It is a new perspective because, normally I'm like freaking out about whatever. I'm enjoying the games a little bit more.
Yeah. Yes. That is the downfall of fantasy football.
Yeah, I'm enjoying
and betting,
the games
for that matter.
Well, I'm becoming I have a problem now gambling. My DraftKings account has skyrocketed because I'm focusing on that rather than focusing on like players that have nothing to do with gambling.
But all right, so when you say you have a gambling problem, that means you're betting.
You started a gambling problem on. You did this to me.
I did this to you. I don't really ever use DraftKings.
No, yeah, kind of. It's not a problem, but I'm, Thursday, Friday, I'm making sure I'm in my DraftKings, making sure all my bets are placed for the week.
Okay,
I'm doing really well.
Now, when you say you have a problem,
it's not a problem. I'm winning.
Right.
If you're losing, you have a problem.
Yeah, that's great mentality. Boy, if that's not Gamblers 101. So let's say this: you have a bet Friday. Let's say there's a game Friday during your wedding. Okay.
Yeah.
Because in my wedding, I'll tell you a story. But
yes,
there's a game Friday. You have money on it. During the wedding, would you check your phone to see how you're doing in that game? Like, is it
at the time is appropriate? If there was a lull in the day, we do have a lull. So, like, the ceremony we have at 2:30, and then the reception's at 6. So, like, there is a moment, we might be hanging out in the bridal suite. I might check it, but there is no game, so I'm okay.
So you may tell the photographer, because I believe you said you're doing pictures in between the ceremony and the reception, right?
Yeah.
So you may tell the photographer as they're getting you in line with your groomsmen or whoever.
Hold on 1 second.
You may say, "Hold on, I'm just trying to get this."
No, no. My bets are in already at that point. You want to know some of these crazy bets that I've been making though?
I guess.
So, like, one of the last bet I made was last night. I bet on the 9th Chiefs drive on the 4th play it would be a run.
That's not okay. That's not okay.
I won that one. On the 9th New York drive and the 8th play attempt, I said it was going to be a pass. I won $10 for that one.
That's not, but those are not, you shouldn't be betting that. Come on.
All right. Well, I mean, I got to stay entertained. I
You
won
know
the
what?
Panthers. My Bills. So my Bills bet got voided because I tied. So our bet here must have been 14.5 or something because my 15.
You got it at 15?
I got a 15.
Yeah, that was a 14. I got him
Yeah.
at 14. Actually, I had him at 13 and a half. You know what bet I liked last night, and it's not a sport we talk about here. The Knicks at home last night, they were just due to be
Yeah.
they were due to like have a dud, and they
Mhm.
played Toronto, who was good, and the Knicks were giving 6.5 points, and the Knicks lost by 9, on top of giving 6.5 points.
Mhm.
But I don't like betting against teams that I like, so I didn't do it. But
Mhm.
yeah. So we wish you the best of luck on Friday.
Thank you.
I mean, it is amazing that the next time our viewers or listeners hear you
Yes.
or see you,
Yes.
you will be a married man.
Yes.
Everything
any,
is
any
all-
advice? Any tips?
Any tips? No, I was gonna say when I got married, the day the Saturday, we got married on a Saturday afternoon, and 2008, which was like right in the heyday of the Yankee Red Sox rivalry.
Mhm.
And there was a Yankee Red Sox game that afternoon at like 4. So I remember like everybody telling me, "Oh God, the Yankees are up 2-1." I think the Yankees won actually. We could look it up. But
They didn't bring
I-
you a TV. They should have brought you a TV.
you know what I did my junior prom?
What'd you
I
do?
got in trouble. I brought a Walkman because the Rangers were playing the Flyers in the playoffs that night. And when my date put a corsage, whatever that thing is, they felt the Walkman. It was like 1990. So
And she got mad at you?
I don't think she got mad at me, but I wasn't allowed to bring it.
Oh.
But I tried. I tried. Do I have any advice for you? No. Here's my only advice. Make sure you eat the food at your wedding because you plan it for the whole time. Thank you for the Mazel Tov wishes for you, for Dougie Sticks.
Thank you,
Tom, for that. No, the only thing I would say is make sure you get to eat the food because you've been planning it. I'm
Yes.
sure you've had a say in the menu.
We have a great menu. And we have a great cocktail hour.
Ooh, my
And
favorite.
Yes. Oh, so Biaggi's is a great place. We do some work with them. So they really hooked it up. We have some great stations. And the best part is they bring me and Adrian up like a special
Yes.
platter to our suite that we can pick at that we don't get to miss on everything.
Do you have all right? So here's a good question for you, since I will be at the
Yes.
cocktail hour, and this
Yes.
is actually the first wedding that Jess and I have attended in.
Yes.
I mean, God knows how many years, because we're out of that phase for the
Mhm.
most part at our age as we get older than you.
Mhm.
Is there one thing that for the cocktail hour you would recommend
Yes.
I go for first? Like, is there
Yes.
what? Yes. What
Yes.
is it?
The ice luge.
No, come on, give me something like.
All right, so we have the ice luge. These are some of the add-on things that we got that they know they're hooking us up with. An ice luge, lobster raviolis. We have a sushi station.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, we have live steak cutting, whatever the carving steaks.
I'm all set. Look at that lobster ravioli, a sushi station, and a
Yeah.
carving. Oh, I'm set.
Yeah,
I might
like
as well
we
start
have the
eating
best
now.
of the best. Yes,
I
It's
might
gonna
as
be
well.
hands down best wedding in New Jersey.
You know what I'm going to do on Friday?
Yeah.
I'm just going to drink like protein shakes all day so that I come hungry and I
Yeah,
have calories to burn.
Yeah,
Come
don't
fired
eat Thursday either.
Yeah, I told you where I think we're taking the kids on Thursday, and I think if we're going there, I need to eat. That's going to be an eventful day. Okay, so I've got my
It's gonna be a good
ticket.
time.
I'm going right for the lobster ravioli,
Don't lose
the
your ticket.
sushi,
Yeah.
the lobster ravioli, the sushi, and the carving station.
Yes. So we got a couple add-ons. Like they were like, you can get a couple add-ons, pick your add-ons, whatever. And like we almost did the dessert without getting into the long story. We were thinking about doing dessert, but my whole argument was, I don't think people are going to even finish the piece of cake in front of them. I don't think we need a whole room dedicated to dessert. There's a cake in front of them, and then in the middle of the table, there's a 3-tier brownies, cookies, strawberries.
Oh, that's what we're getting.
And
That's
each
fine.
table, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's going to go more than that. We don't
No.
need a whole room. So the argument between me and everybody else, we won't mention
Mhm.
names, was that we should use that add-on for like the lobster raviolis, the ice luge.
I would agree. That
Yes.
was a good choice.
right.
The problem with and I like desserts at weddings, but normally, like if you've done your job and you give people a good cocktail hour
Yes,
and a good entree, they're not starving for
Yeah,
dessert anyway. They don't
exactly,
need 97 choices.
exactly. They're not even going to finish the slice of cake in front of them. So
Are
why
you-
add on
Band or DJ?
DJ?
Is
Yeah.
this someone
We
you
got
know?
Walking on Clouds, and we had
Wow.
So real quick, I have a friend that I wanted to be my DJ. And I was like, hey, man, like, you're my friend. I want you to be my DJ. Great, great, great. And apparently we weren't that good of friends because his price was double everyone else's, which was fine. And I was willing to do it. But I was like, look, man, I got to justify this to my future wife. If you're the top price, you got to include the sparklers and the walking on cloud thing. And he goes, well, those are rental. I can give you 10% off the rental. And as a businessman, you're a businessman too. As a businessman, I'm like, hey, man, just, as a businessman, you should probably buy these things and own them rather than renting them. You know what I mean? And he was like, no, I own them. And I was like, thanks, dude. Thanks, friend. But yeah, so Adrian found someone who's including the sparklers, including the walking on clouds, all the lights and fun stuff. And then we have fireworks at the end of the night.
I've been informed.
Yes.
We will be staying for that. Well,
Yes.
we wish you the best of luck next time you tune in next week. And you can ask any questions about Dougie's wedding if you would like. We'll take them next week at mypbshow@gmail.com. Thanks for listening to us today on episode number 51. We thank Joe DeAngelis for coming in, talking some fantasy football. We also always give our thanks to Sonnet Financial Technologies for sponsoring the program. And we will be back next week with episode number 52, which will be a year's worth of technically.
Yeah,
we don't do every week. We haven't done every week of the last year, but most of them. So
in mind your puck and business world, it would be the 1 year anniversary.
It would be the 1 year
number
anniversary.
52.
So we will celebrate the 1 year anniversary by having Dougie Sticks be a married man.
Yeah.
And we wish the Rangers luck. We actually, before we get on next week, they'll have 4 games between now and then. They are in Vancouver tonight. They go to Edmonton on Friday, Calgary on Saturday, and come home to play the undefeated Florida Panthers on Monday night. So we'll have a lot of Ranger stuff to talk about. That's it for here. Thanks for tuning in. Enjoy the rest of your day.